Ask your parents to go to wrdw.com/sketchthesky for more details. Sponsored by Hobbytown Augusta.
Trust Chief Meteorologist Riley Hale for your first alert. You're watching News 12 live at 5. Continues.
Another shooting at a Walmart in Aiken, and one person was injured yesterday outside the Whiskey Road Walmart. It's the same Walmart where 13-year-old Ashton Reichard was shot in June. Now, yesterday's shooting was in a very busy parking lot. Hallie Turner joining us live from the newsroom. And Hallie, you spoke with people who are fuming over these shootings.
They are. The city of Aiken considers itself to be a place where it's safe to retire, but these recent shootings are upsetting that sense of security. The call of shots fired at this Walmart came in Sunday at 4:35 in the afternoon. Investigators say someone fired shots at a vehicle and then left before officers could get there. It happened just 30 minutes after this anonymous mother walked out of the front doors of the store with her 2 children under the age of 4. She says this shooting is just the latest example.
A couple months ago at Wrdw, there was a shooting too. So we're already in a place in Aiken with limited resources for our kids. The only places to take our kids in Aiken is a park or a grocery store or a mattress store or a car wash. I mean, when is Aiken going to start putting things for kids to do and for families to go safely?
Now, coming up all new tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we're hearing more from people who say you shouldn't have to fear for your life for a trip to the grocery store.
All right, thanks, Hallie, for that update. We know you'll continue to stay on top of this. Of course, as we know more, we'll bring you live updates. Switching gears as we take a look about 10 minutes. Thanks, Riley. 2 more teens have been arrested in the shooting death of a Thompson 14-year-old from earlier this month. The GBI says 15-year-old Rashawn Coleman and 14-year-old Wrdw Coleman, both from Valdosta, were arrested Friday and charged with felony murder, aggravated assault, and gang charges. They're being held at the Thomasville Youth Detention Center. The victim, 14-year-old Jonathan Johnson, died November 14th after he was shot on Anderson Avenue. 3 other teens were arrested a week earlier, charged with felony murder and other crimes related to this case. A new report shows the shortage of teachers in South Carolina has reached unprecedented levels for another year. At the start of this school year, more than 1,600 educator jobs were unfilled across the state. Our State House reporter Mary Green has the details from Columbia.
One teacher says the annual Educator Supply and Demand Report released Monday should have alarm bells going off here at the State House, as well as at the Department of Education and with local school boards across South Carolina.
If you're assuming 20 to 25 students per classroom, that means tens of thousands of students are not receiving daily access to a highly qualified teacher.
As this graph shows, teacher vacancies in South Carolina have grown tremendously over the last few years. The number of open jobs at the start of this school year is up nearly 10% from last year and more than double what it was just 3 years ago. State Superintendent of Education Ellen Weaver is asking lawmakers in her budget request to raise the statewide starting salary for teachers again next year. Weaver said last month the state should consider additional strategies to get and keep more teachers in the classroom, including extra pay for teachers who mentor younger colleagues, incentives for teaching in high-need areas, and part-time return options for educators who have left the profession.
There's a lot of things that we need to be looking at, but it's going to require an all-of-the-above strategy for sure, because we're in desperate need of teachers.
Earlier this year, a committee focused on South Carolina's teacher shortage released nearly 24 recommendations for turning it around. Some of those ideas would require lawmakers' approval, and the legislature will be able to take them under consideration for the first time when it returns here in January. Reporting from the State House, I'm Mary Green.
An important note about this report, when it describes the educator shortage, that's mainly certified teachers, but it also includes school-based service positions like counselors and librarians. Convicted killer Alec Murdaugh will be back in the courtroom this week for sentencing in his financial crimes trial. It's set for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Murdaugh pleaded guilty to several of his 100 state financial crime charges more than a week ago. The agreement, which the judge still has to agree to, would see Murdaugh sentenced to 27 years in state prison. Murdaugh was indicted for taking $8 million in legal settlements from clients. He's already serving 2 life sentences for murders of his wife and son. Well, breaking news out of Richmond County, the suspect still wanted in the accidental shooting death of 4-year-old Zyke. It's an update to a story we first brought you in the show. Ladarian Ryans has been located and is in custody now. He's charged with second-degree murder. Again, Brittany Ryans also behind bars, charged with second-degree murder. Well, Grovetown City Council holding a specially called meeting tomorrow. It'll be held at the council chambers at City Hall at 6 p.m. The meeting will be held to discuss a resolution to hold a special election in March. That's to fill former Councilwoman Deborah Fisher's seat, who stepped down to run for mayor. The city of Johnston is kicking off Christmas season with its tree lighting ceremony. You can see people maybe starting to show up there. You're looking here live at people starting to gather. There's still time to get downtown to the municipal parking lot. The fun goes from now until 7 p.m. There will be musical performances by the area church choirs, food, crafts. Even Santa will be making an appearance there if you want to bring the little ones down there. The reading of the Christmas story will round out the festivities there. So a great event. Looks like some people already showing up with a beautiful sunset in the backdrop there. The city of Grovetown also getting into the Christmas spirit. It's hosting its Rock and Roll Christmas Parade this Saturday. There will be some pictures from these are some pictures from last year's parade, excuse me. This year will make 49 years the city has put on its Christmas parade. The city says each year more people line up to watch the floats go by. If you're one of them, the parade route starts at 10 a.m. on Horizon South Parkway, then it turns right onto Wrightsboro Road to Grovetown Middle School.
Later that afternoon and evening, from 5 to 9, we'll be holding our annual Christmas Festival, which is going to have a bunch of live entertainment, train rides, our ceremonial Christmas tree lighting. It's going to be a really wonderful time.
Grovetown's Christmas Festival will be at Liberty Park on Newmantown Road. Other parades taking place around the area. North Augusta will hold its Christmas parade December 3rd at 3 p.m. in downtown North Augusta. City of Aiken is holding its parade that same day in downtown Aiken. It kicks off at 2 p.m. Columbia County also on the 3rd. Your family will want to be at Evans Town Center Park by 3 p.m. to catch the parade when it starts. Now, the City of Augusta is on the 9th, starting at Green and Telfair Street at 1 p.m. Well, it's a team effort to make sure students in one South Carolina county have everything they need for education after high school. How they're doing it coming up after the break. Riley?
Well, we have the Beaver Moon rising over the eastern sky. Live look from our Grovetown cam showing that full moon just outside, well, near full moon. It's actually starting to wane a little bit, but we'll have a look at a chilly forecast on the way just after the break. Here's a quick look at your 7-day forecast. Remember, pretty cold temps for the next couple of days, and then we do see the rain return late to the week.
Thanks, Riley. Working to make sure each student has the chance for higher education. OnTrack Greenville partners with United Way and Greenville County School District to find students that extra help. Myra Ruiz explains how they do it.
It is critical because it really digs in to figure out what a child really needs. The premise is the right student, the right time, and the right intervention.
With help from teachers, staff, and others, OnTrack looks at attendance, behavior, and course performance and customizes intervention plans based on the needs. Right now, OnTrack partners say that there's a growing number of students being displaced by the lack of affordable housing. Infinite Possibilities helps out with rent and utilities, but the increase in demand has nearly depleted the funds, and the nonprofit is sending families to shelters.
Unfortunately, a lot of the shelters have waiting lists, so there's no options other than families, hearing a mother say, well, we're going to have to sleep in our car tonight, and that's real heartbreaking.
OnTrack also partners with the Greenville Mentoring Collaborative.
We know that young people with mentors are more likely to graduate from high school. They're more likely to go on into a career and be employed. They're more likely to also give back and become leaders in their community.
A year-round mission to keep students on track to graduate no matter what's going on in their lives.
The Richmond County school system is doing its part to help students in our area with math and literacy. The workshop Numbers Plus Letters Equals Better Together will be held Wednesday at the Hub on Chaffee Street. The first workshop starts at 9:30 a.m. Attendees will learn about the new K-12 Georgia mathematics standards and receive STEM products. Well, coming up in sports, the SEC championship stage is set. Kirby Smart and Nick Saban will once again go head-to-head for the SEC crown. We have the latest from Athens coming up next.
Change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your doctor about Dupixent.
Black Friday shopping starts now at Jimmy's Home Furnishings. Come visit our all-new mattress center and save up to $800 on select adjustable mattress sets. Plus, we have deeply discounted clearance items that are up to 40% off. We're also offering 60-month 0% financing on all of our new inventory. Jimmy and his son Alex want to thank you for shopping with us and supporting a local family-owned and operated business here in Grovetown, only 2 miles off exit 190. Jimmy's Home Furnishings, where it feels like home.
Hi, Suzanne Lily Honeymichael here with Hardwood Floors and More. Welcome to our showroom located on Washington Road in Evans. We look forward to seeing you so you can discover for yourself everything we have to offer. Hardwood Floors and More. So much more in store for you.
This month it's Yes Member.
Well, most everyone is going to do some of their holiday shopping this year on a smartphone. While that's usually fine, a few mistakes could put your credit card info at risk. Consumer tech reporter Jamie Tucker explains.
What the Tech, sponsored by Augusta Preparatory Day School.
Now, shopping on a smartphone is easy, it's convenient, and it will account for over $400 billion in sales this year. Well, hackers follow the money, and if you shop on a phone when you're not at home, it could be risky. Shopping or banking on public Wi-Fi opens the possibility of something called a man-in-the-middle attack. That's when a hacker who knows what they're doing intercepts data on a compromised Wi-Fi network. That could be credit card information, usernames, passwords, and email. If you are out and shopping on a phone, do not shop on public Wi-Fi. It is safer to turn off Wi-Fi and use your wireless data plan. Before shopping, update apps in your phone's latest operating system. These generally include security updates. The iPhone is currently on iOS 17.1.1. Make sure you're using it. Don't use a debit card, and if you have one stored on a shopping site or app, delete it. Debit cards are tied to your bank account, and once money leaves that account, you likely won't get it back. If something goes wrong, credit card companies are more likely to help you. Double check the site you're shopping. Be very skeptical of any ads you see on social media, particularly Facebook. Some ads are from fake companies that either sell counterfeit items or simply steals your credit card information. So before buying something from a Facebook ad, Google the company in a browser and make sure the ad links to the legitimate website. And before you do any online shopping, review your passwords. Make sure the passwords for your credit card and your shopping apps are not the same as the passwords you use for social media. That's What the Tech. I'm Jamie Tucker.
If you do shop on a smartphone, it's safer to use the store's app instead of a browser window. A movie that takes place at an iconic nearby landmark is out now. A Biltmore Christmas premiered last night. The movie jumps back and forth between today and the 1940s. The storyline takes place at the home, so there are nods to its history throughout the movie. We're hearing from one of the stars of that movie, Bethany Rentz and Chase Pickering, who work at the Biltmore and is a member of the family. Biltmore Christmas will be rerunning all season long on the Hallmark Channel.
First of all, filming in a location like this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I think that is singular and makes it unlike anything I've ever done before. But also, I don't think I've ever done time travel before.
Even though it is a fictional storyline, we did want to bring in some nods to our history. For example, the hourglass that you see here plays a central role in the film. It's actually inspired by an original hourglass in our collection that is on display in Mr. Vanderbilt's room.
Well, it's about that time of the year. This Saturday, Georgia and Alabama will meet once again in the SEC championship game. It's the third time these two have played since 2018, but possibly one of the most important games, Alyssa.
Yeah, this was what we're going to go ahead and call an unofficial playoff game, Will. It's kind of what we saw this past weekend with Michigan and Ohio State. If Georgia wins, they're in. If Alabama wins, well, they could certainly stir the pot.
The Southeast Showdown, sponsored by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
Well, I'm sure all of you are thinking, what about 2021? Back then, a loss to Alabama in the SEC championship didn't keep them from the playoffs. But then, 3 of the 4 playoff teams had one loss. Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State are all 12-0, and Oregon and Texas are hanging in the balance. This could definitely be different, just as these 2 teams are.
The 2 teams are very different. I
mean, you look at who they were then and who we were then. I don't know that they could be, polar opposites in terms of what they do offensively and even us from a standpoint and who we were defensively then. They turn plays into massive explosive plays. So, part of their plan, they know their quarterback's going to be able to extend plays. He has the longest time to throw in the entire NCAA.
This is just the second time that two undefeated teams in conference play have made it to the SEC championship. Since 1992, 14 of the SEC championship winners went on to win the national championship. Are you getting nervous, Riley?
This game always makes me nervous, Alyssa. Anytime Georgia plays Alabama, it usually does not go our way, but fingers crossed this Saturday. Hey, we got a beautiful view of the full moon. I misspoke earlier. Tonight is actually the official full beaver moon of November. Now look at that forecast for you just after the break.
This month is whatever it takes. RideOutBaby.com. Click, click.
A police sergeant in Georgia managed to nab an escapee who was just hopping around on Friday. The Gilmore County Sheriff's Office shared this image of the sergeant with the suspect in question on social media. It's a 3-foot-tall kangaroo named Stevie. The Sheriff's Office says that Stevie was visiting the LJ area with his owner, who's from out of state. Now, the Sheriff's Office even issued a BOLO, or be on the lookout, post on social media for Stevie and added that it was not a joke. I have a lot of questions about where you get a kangaroo, because I want one.
I know, and I know in South Carolina you're allowed to have a kangaroo,
Really?
because I think there was an instance where one got away up at the lake in McCormick County.
I heard that.
But so South Carolina has pretty lax laws on what you can own animal-wise, but I'm not sure if you can have one in Georgia. So
dual citizenship for both sides.
Looks like the cops weren't too upset about it. Hey, we got a beautiful picture at the full moon tonight. This is actually a live view from our Grovetown cam. Sorry, it's a little bit shaky here. We got a little bit of a wind, and a little bit of a wind tonight is thanks to a cold front that's pushing through, and that's really going to reinforce some pretty chilly air over the next couple of days. We have not seen a hard freeze yet for our southern counties, so Allendale, Screven, and Jenkins County are underneath a freeze watch for Wednesday morning. You should stay above freezing tonight, but by Wednesday and Thursday, that's when we're expecting some really cold temps down into the 20s. We are going to see plenty of sunshine, though, over the next couple of days. No rain in our forecast till we get later into the week. Unfortunately, the rain shows up for the weekend.
All right, thanks, Riley. Stick with us. We have more news, weather, and sports coming up after a short break on News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Using the First Alert